Do you see now the difference in our power?
Today, when I opened up Twitter, I was looking for some Marizu R34 goon material, but what I found was this headline, and I'll read it verbatim. Today's news: the main man Sui blames players for Tekken 8 cheese strategy. Whenever you see a news headline like this, that means the conversation has blown up massively in terms of the space that it's like dealing with, right? And when I clicked on this, I was like, okay, well, what is this about? And the clip that I seen, bro, was crazy. Now, before we dive really deep into this, let me say this. You guys know I'm a big fan of TheMainManSWE. I think he is an excellent content creator. I think he is an example and an inspiration for a lot of people who want to get into content creation. Back when I was starting my channel, channels like his was definitely an inspiration to me, and I'm sure a lot of others. One thing about TheMainManSWE as well is that he had this very viral battle with Nova, and I believe Fighting GM was somewhere involved, but they were basically arguing over Tekken 8 and its rule breaking mechanics. You know, they were talking about your inability to create backdash, your inability to escape some of these attacks, how plus frames they are, how safe it is, the stepping. You know, they were having one of those kind of fundamental style Tekken arguments. Nova, for a lot of people, was making very good arguments, and MainManSWE was basically saying, Nova, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about, and Tekken 8 is still a great game. That's kind of what MainManSWE stands for a very long time, is that Tekken 8 is still good. Obviously, he will want it to be balanced, and on that front, I do feel the same way. I think that you can have a lot of fun with Tekken 8. I always say that Tekken 8 is a fun game, like a fun game, but when you talk about a competitive game, that's when Tekken 8 starts to fall apart, the competitiveness, right? But if you're just looking at it from a casual standpoint, you talk about the story, you talk about the lounge, you talk about the online practice mode, Tekken 8 has a lot of features that other fighting games don't have, and for that I do give it a W. But this is not the lens that a lot of people look at it through, right? When I say Tekken 8 is a good game, it's not for the same reason that the main man says it. So for everyone who's been following along with the MainManSWE for throughout season 2, a headline like this could be a huge surprise to you, but maybe not so surprising. A couple of days ago, I made a video about the MainManSWE, and I was talking about how he was kind of venting while he was playing ranked. And this is something that we all have done. You know, if you go and click my streams, you will see me talking about Lydia, Anna, Alyssa, characters I absolutely despise. And then also, you may even hear me talking about a Victor here and there. So I 100% understand where he's coming from, especially when you're playing an Armor King against some of these characters. Yeah, you're going to feel like the game is unfair. Since that video resonated with so many players, I do want to read some of the top liked comments on there. One person says, Victor is a non-traditional Tekken character who is easy to play with teleports, guns, and weapons. His archetype in general is just obnoxious despite him being considered a top tier character. Main Man is a guy who plays this game for 6 to 8 hours a day routinely. Can't fault the man for getting salty, and I 100% agree with that. I think he's been playing a lot, he's been grinding a lot, and that will increase their levels of salt. When I start making a lot of rants about Tekken 8, it's probably because I'm grinding, trying to get God of Destruction or something of that nature. Another one says, this game is the biggest salt producer in the world. Another one says, Victor is the embodiment of Tekken 8 issues. Lastly, I want to transition over to Twitter, and I want to read a tweet from Ryujin, where he says, watching the main man slowly lose his ability to hold himself and actually say what he believes because of his anger is funny. He can no longer glaze this game because of his hatred for it. People felt that the MainManSWE was trying to say good things about the game, but he actually secretly hates it. Now, this is where we'll look at the clip in question, and I'll let you guys decide whether or not that's true or untrue. Shout out to this person for clipping this and putting it on Twitter and creating this discussion.
Isn't this the developer's fault more than his? No. You can take that excuse and shove it up your fucking asshole. Fuck you. Fuck you.
So just right there, I would disagree with main man. Whenever I'm going up against someone who's playing an obnoxious character, I never put the blame on them. I never was like, this person's the worst. I say, no, this character is the worst. How would the developers let something like this fly for a long time? To give you an example that's not balancing related, let's talk about Negan in Tekken 7. That character kind of had a reputation of like not skipping the cutscenes while also having the longest cutscenes in the game. And I always used to tell Negan players, like, it's not your fault. If the developers want to put that long cutscene in the game, then in my opinion, don't skip it even more, so that way they cannot do it again in the future. If their character gets a lot of negativity for a decision that they made, if that negativity blows up to the extreme, then the next time around they won't do it. Now we see with Tekken 8, a lot of these intros and win poses are a lot shorter and they're more snappy. You would assume the same would be true for balancing. If something is obnoxious, like an install, surprise, surprise, the next 3 DLC characters don't have installs. So this is why I don't blame the players. Even if they main the character, they can at times be a solution, because the garbage that they're doing will alter the way future characters and hopefully balancing is done. Let's keep listening though.
So tired of hearing that. When I play this game in ranked and everyone's abusing cheese, and when I play Dead by Daylight, everyone's abusing cheese. You are the problem.
Going back to this news article from Twitter, you can see the full excerpt says, in a clip, the main man argued developers bear only 50% fault for a dominance cheese tactics, with players opting into weak strategies against them. Many pointed to Season 2 updates earlier this year, which added more aggressive and cut defensive options, pushing even the classic styles towards spam to compete. While some backed the main man on adapting to the new meta and win-driven rank, others saw it as ignoring design shifts that favor low-effort offense over precise play. The back and forth highlight tensions between player habits and balance changes as spam lingers in matches.
The devs are 50%, but the other 50% is you low self-esteem losers who choose to abuse the dumbest shit. I blame you as well. You choose to do that. Fuck you.
See, that's kind of crazy, bro. That's kind of crazy because, like, I play Yoshimitsu, right? The most cheesiest character in the game, according to a lot of people. I think there's other characters who's now outweighing him in terms of cheese, but Yoshimitsu is the cheese guy, right? He has the low unblockable, he has the poison breath, he has the flash, and like, let's take Anna for example, right? Anna is a beloved character. If you look back before her release, everyone was like, okay, this is gonna be cool. You know, she's a fan favorite. The developers are the ones who decided to give her this huge rocket, and it puts the players in this weird situation of like, my character is changed, my character is altered. Do I just throw my character in the trash and play someone else, or do I just continue playing the character that I know and love? Even though the Anna players wasn't really dealing with that ultimatum, one group of players that we know definitely is Eddie mains. Eddie is the most cheesiest, scrubbiest, easy to use, brain dead, 50-50 garbage character like in this game. I think Eddie is really underrated. People talk about Brian Fury and how that guy shows up at every tournament. At EWC there was 3 Brian Furies, but you know what there was also 3 of? Eddie. Eddie is a monster, but also at the same time, I don't put that on the Eddie mains. And also the Eddie mains was left with this weird dilemma of like, my character has been destroyed, but I love Eddie. So do I continue playing Eddie, or do I go play some other character that I was playing until Eddie showed up in the game? So this is a crazy take from the main man, and I hope that this isn't how he truly feels, and I hope this is just him ranting because he's like playing in ranked and he's like been playing for a long time and he's losing, right? Because the longer you play ranked, the more of a degenerate you become, the more your IQ drop, the more Tekken 8 poisons you with its like gameplay. That's why Season 2 got reviewed bombed, because it did the opposite of what a lot of people wanted. Something that I also think is worth mentioning is how you also have players who do try to avoid cheese in this game. You know, at one point in time, I was like, I'm not using rage arts. In ranked, bro, I use rage arts to seal the deal, because if they get up, they will hurt you. You have people who take it a step further and they say, I'm not going to use heat. I'm not going to use installs. Now, me personally, those people who feel that way, they are seriously limiting their capabilities and what they're able to do. Heat and some heat attacks are the best moves in the whole game. So if you are like not, you could do it, but if you are like saying, I'm not going to use these installs and use this plus frame mid or this Season 2 new move, you are putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. And is that what MainManSWE want everyone to do? A lot of these characters, this garbage is so baked into the core, like a Steve Fox. How can players avoid it without throwing their character into the trash? This is why a lot of people are like, I simply either can't play the game, or I just have to accept my character, accept this, and then just play. Trying to avoid all of the cheese strategies, whether it be Oki, combo damage, tail spins, stance mix-ups, you're just putting yourself at a serious disadvantage, and it's going to be that much more rage-inducing when everyone else is still doing it to you. Lastly, you have this tweet from Speedkicks. Patch was so bad, they asked if it was April Fool's joke. And now it's December and like 4 things have changed. Amazing work. And this is the reason why you can't blame the players. Most people didn't ask for the game to be this way. You can look across so many different polls that I've done. Go to my channel, look at the poll section, and you can see that so many people didn't want this to be the reality. So you can't blame them for what Tekken 8 is.